Yikes. All right, everybody. Give you a little walkthrough so far. We will go back and adjust the load on the bearings. Just want to give you a walkthrough here real quick. Just brake conversion up front. Again, 4.5T here, 4.550 calipers here. We just move to the front. Swap sides so that the bleeder hose at the top. 1200 horsepower anti-sway bar system. Got to finish up the welds. Just kind of got it mocked up right now. We'll go back up, trim, bolts, do what we need to. 4-link front end suspension. A little pizzazz. Big airbags up front. Right now, I'm thinking maybe the airbag's a little bit too big, but we'll see. If it is, we'll just go with some pancake airbags and put some little things in here to make up the room for them. It's going to be the original stuff for the brakes and clutch. I want it to look original on the inside when you get in, but I'm trying to hide all the new modern features as best I can. Kind of hard to do. But I like the fact that I'm using the original frame, the original axles, steering box, as much originality as I can, but adding some cool new features like the Watts Link air over hydraulic brakes. 5.9 comes in the back. I'll come back later. I've checked. I got plenty of clearance here. I will be putting a shock bracket here over somewhere in here. You will see a shock in the future, I believe. Got the brackets being laser cut out at the moment to mount my air tanks in the rear. We'll have 20 gallons on each side. One will be pretty much for emergency brake reserve. One will be for air bags and braking. I'm not going to be using the airbags all the time. It'll be pretty much fill them up and they're done, so I can use that for primary braking. This will be emergency backup. There will be a pressurized reverse check valve on here. Air compressor will be pumping up to, where did it go? There it is. The air dryer system. I have a governor that I'm going to be mounting next to this on a bracket because I didn't have enough room on the air compressor for the governor here. It would normally mount here, but with what I got going on here, there's not enough room. So we'll take the line out, mount it down there. Not a big deal. It's downhill drop over to the air dryer. And eventually I'm going to put some type of wet tank here. Now the wet tank come over to the check valve, go into emergency and tee off and also go over there. And from there, we are going to be putting a 8-solenoid manifold up in here behind the old gas tank. We're going to cut the back of that tank and put a couple things inside there, but it'll look like the original tank. So part of this, about a third of the way, I'm going to use for the intercooler reservoir water. And the other part of it I'm going to use to hide the manifold, the 8-solenoid manifold and air lines to control the brakes. To control the airbags. So kind of 2-in-1 little thing going on here. But that will be mounted back in its original spot and hide. You look down here, you'll have some room to get down and do maintenance in there. Might have to just remove, think about putting a wet tank somewhere in here. Just might have to move the wet tank if you want to do a lot of maintenance. But other than that, she's pretty clean under here. I got room to do some maneuver and do what I need to do. Think about putting I got about 4 gauges, one for the boost, one for the 2 tanks. It'll be 2 gauges of one. And then I'm going to have one for all my airbags. And one for something else. I've got Oh, and originally, this was, voila. Exchange this. This is off of another type of Cummins, not a 5.9, but still a 3-inch hole. We're going to come up in 90. We're going to make our intercooler system piping short as possible. Now, I'm not making tons of power with this thing. It was originally a 190 horsepower with a number 10 fuel plate in the pump. Should boost it up to around 230 with about 600 something pounds of torque. But I still don't want no lag or any problems with the intercooler system, the piping being too big or whatnot. So let's come up. I'll show you the other side. All right. We got our 4-inch silicone elbow. We're going to come up with just a piece of pipe and do a small cone type filter here. Hopefully that doesn't create too much of a drop on pressure. Instead of coming out with a 90, which I got that part coming, I've already ordered it, but I decided not to use it. It's going to take like 45 days to come from China. But I found this, I forgot what website, but this is going to allow me to come straight up and either 90 back for intercooler or come up and over. Don't need much of an intercooler really. So I just want to figure out kind of where I want the intercooler. But the cool thing is, on the outlet of my exhaust was this original part here. 35, 33, 02, what, 3, whatever. But anyways, the original flange piece was kind of ate up a little bit. Could have probably still used it. But I know I'm going to like a 4-inch pipe. And what easier way than to order a 4.4 flange right off this cast piece. Look at that. Beautiful. Is that not awesome? So I got the 4.4 flange coming that will be able to weld on a 4-inch pipe straight to it and come straight up. So my plans are to come straight up with a 4-inch pipe, probably the same height as the gas tank here, and go through the wooden bed. Yep. Got my exhaust on last night. And she is a beaut. 4-inch pipe on a 4.4-inch flange adapter. Love it. That's the look I'm going for. Now I will put the original bed back on here, and I'll have a wooden bed. I'll have that coming up through the bed. Basically have the new bed boxed in around it to where you can see the engine. But I'll have the option of going down the road without a bed or with a bed. Today, for this episode, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to modify, rig up the output shaft, brake, driveline, yoke assembly. What do you want to call it? You call it what you want to call it. What we're doing is like a makeshift. Basically, the original 1948 output shaft had a Mercy brake on it. I went to the Eaton Fuller 6-speed. I also got an output shaft Mercy brake on it, and the yoke on the 1990 whatever model truck that the transmission came out of had a big yoke on it, which is today's truck size yokes. The automotive car top yokes are smaller. Well, the old 1948 2-ton speed rear ends had, you know, what today cars use. So you can't marry them up, they say, the small ones with the big ones. So I told them that's fine. Went back home, got on the old AutoCAD Fusion 360, and made my own 2-piece adapter where I put the bolts through it. Now I want to just put little spots here to spot weld just to hold the nuts. That way I can always take this off later on. It's 2 pieces. I can undo all the nuts and take it off and tighten it or whatever I need to. But I'll do a little spot welds later on if I have to tighten this or change this out or whatever. I don't have to take it all apart. So that's the only reason I'm doing this. And let's put a little spot welds and I'll show you what we got. All right, let's go over here. Well, like I said, the original, transmission in the 1948 truck had a emergency brake on the outlet of it. Don't have it in the rear Eaton 2-speed rear end. So I still want an emergency brake. So when I ordered the Eaton 6-speed, it was a remanufactured transmission. And they said they could go ahead and throw emergency brake on it as well. So I asked for it, but it come with a big yoke. And so I took it off. I don't think I have it. It's here somewhere. Yep, here it is. So, there's a big new truck top yoke. But the original, yokes of the day, as you can tell, big difference. So I made my own little flange. So I don't have the casted yoke with the flange. So I had to put the original, flange onto it, but I needed bolts on the inside. So I needed space in here between the output shaft. So I designed it as a 2-piece where I made outer rings connect, engineered lip here. This engineered lip accepts this yoke flange. It's very simple. Comes 2 pieces, as you see here. The lip fits right in here. Everything should be pretty well centered. I'm not going to guarantee you this ain't going to have vibration. I'm not going to say it's perfect. Again, I don't think I'm going to go very fast in this truck. It's mainly for fun. So let's see how it works. Beautifulness. Now that I get this on, now I'll lower the truck all the way down to its minimum point. Take a measurement, center the yoke, yoke. Lift it as high as it's going to go. Go center yoke. Get them 2 measurements. Give them to the guys who make drive lines. Let them do the thing they're going to do. There we go. Couple things I've done. I have checked my angle of the output shaft, the angle of the rear third member. They cancel out. And I can always adjust that by the 4 links in the rear. And maybe when I get a drive line all made up, we will revisit this in the future. All right, here's the setup with the wheel on. Now this setup is with the original split rims. I had them cut out and put into modern rims, so a lot safer. Don't have to worry about it blowing apart. Now these weren't as bad as some of them. The original split rims were the most dangerous, but these still weren't as safe as new modern wheels. So I had the centers cut out and welded into some new pieces and got the original look. And got the spacing in there. Looks beautiful. So that wheel was riding exactly in the same location as it was before. Now they are higher. Just the rubber itself is higher. But it doesn't hit or rub on the wheel well. The only thing I noticed with being higher on the airbags, when I set it down, I'm going to have to put a safety to where it won't let the air out. The solenoid won't activate unless the wheels are straight. Because once it's set down into the wheel well, there is not enough space up in here. So I can't ride with it lower, but when I go into a show or whatever, I can set it down. As long as the wheels are straight, they'll come up here, tuck in here. Before I go, I'll get the ride height and plenty of turning at ride height. Get the brake lines going. It'll be hydraulic from here to the master cylinder. And from this side over, it'll be all air brake.